Alright, welcome back everybody to Pixelated Apocalypse. It's Uberbulge,
Westicles,
Juicebox.
and it's just going to be us three tonight. Big Man
Yep.
Thor, H13, and Double A Ron are going to be out.
Occupado.
So it's just going to be the three of us tonight.
Yep.
And tonight's topic is retro games.
Nostalgia time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite retro console. Go.
Probably Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
64. I didn't own a Super Nintendo.
64
It was
probably
the only
second.
Nintendo or only retro console I just never had. My big ones were Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64.
I've owned every Nintendo console from the NES all the way up to the Wii. I do not have a Wii U, but I have at one point in time owned every Nintendo console that's been out, except for the Wii U. So
I can say that for everything but the Super.
yeah. And that's sad though, because like the
I
Super
know.
Nintendo was like one of the
It's such
best.
a great system. The glory of things, though, I recovered a lot when I got a decent PC and found the world of emulators.
Yeah, because
I played so many games with my emulator.
The Super Nintendo had so many great games. You know, Star Fox made its debut on the Super.
Yeah.
You know, you had Super Mario World,
Zelda,
Link to the Past,
Final Fantasy
Final
was big
Fantasies,
on that.
You know,
Well, actually,
Super Mario RPG is one of, to this day, one of my top.
Super
10
Nintendo
games.
was the progenitor of the RPG consoles.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. You even have Earthbound, all these other crazy offshoot RPGs.
It's crazy ass shit. But
yeah.
I mean, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're just going to kind of bullshit around about our favorite retro games and retro consoles and consoles that we felt should have maybe made it when they didn't. We all know one. Yeah, that's and you know that's really sad because I mean you got to remember the Dreamcast at this point is what 15 years old.
Dead and gone.
15 years old. Now think about that. How old does that fucking make you feel?
I know.
15 years ago, we were playing on a Dreamcast.
And I was, too. I was enjoying my Sonic Adventure on my little VMU. I had my little Chow raising him and everything. Playing fucking Tamagotchi with
Right. I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, the Dreamcast, when you really think about it, the Dreamcast, so many consoles of the consoles nowadays, as far as Microsoft, Sony, and even Nintendo, they all have pulled something in one way or another from the Dreamcast.
Yeah, it was a truly ahead of its time system.
I mean, you look at the Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah, which is almost blatantly
Exactly.
just a Dreamcast controller.
If you look at the fucking original Xbox controller, it pretty much was only twice as big, because it even had the spots.
I would say only twice as big, yes. The original Xbox controller was massive, but it was still about half the size of a Dreamcast controller.
You know.
But it really was the same thing. The same ABXY setup, the same positioning for the thumbsticks, the D-pad, the triggers. Same damn controller.
Pretty much.
Plus the addition of that slot where you put the VMU.
Yeah. Well,
Neat feature that never took off.
The original Xbox controller had those too. It's just for normal memory
Yeah,
cards.
but it wasn't for those awesome Tamagotchi-looking fucking things.
Man, that's like... And it was just something that never took off.
Such a weird, kitschy thing to put on there.
Since, you know, we can now consider the Dreamcast a retro.
It is. It is.
Old as hell, we are. Favorite retro game on the Dreamcast? What's your favorite?
Ooh, favorite retro on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, it was on the Dreamcast.
Shenmue.
Shenmue? You got one, Juicebox?
Yeah, for me, it's House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
That was a good...
That was great. Especially if you
so
had the light
terrible.
guns.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Oh, man.
You're trying to save this woman. Please, don't come. Don't come. Seriously?
What?
That's what they would say.
That's kind of a bitch thing to say in the first place, let alone when I'm trying to save you from zombies.
Well, it was a great game, too, especially if you had two people to play and you both had light guns.
Yeah.
And that was great.
We had one light gun,
I
so
know,
one of us was on the controller, and it was kind of lame.
It was always.
Yeah.
Always.
The good news, though, is we did eventually get Typing of the Dead, honorable mention, and we both had keyboards.
But for me, it was Skies of Arcadia.
I never got to play it.
I never got to play it on the Dreamcast.
But they did do the GameCube.
I did play the GameCube remake, which just had slightly better graphics, and I guess it had the DLC that you could get for the for it on the Dreamcast, which is another thing. Fucking Sega.
Progenitor of DLC.
Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, it was a great game, and I loved it. I mean, it was a great RPG. Had shit battles for one thing.
I've always wanted to play it. I've still to this day have not been able to play Skies of Arcadia.
If you can find it on the GameCube,
my cousin owns it for GameCube. I just have not gotten to that point where I've played it.
Make sure you have a controller with rumble feature, otherwise it's going to be hard as hell.
I'm going to look forward to it when I get there.
But it's a great game. One of my favorite RPGs.
I had so many fun times with Dreamcast.
Oh, and there was just so many.
Sonic Adventure is still one of the best Sonic games ever made.
Sonic Adventures was.
And the second one too, actually.
The second one was alright, but the first one was still better.
It was.
I mean, I hated playing as Big.
But still fun.
But it was still fun, and especially, because there was actually a reason for playing as all these characters, because if you got everything with all these characters, you got the true ending.
Yes.
And
it had this awesome sandbox. It kept the feel of old school Sonic.
Too.
Good music.
And it had great music. Great set pieces.
Oh, hell yeah. I still remember getting chased by the fucking killer whale.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most iconic set pieces,
it was awesome.
That you can think of, right? Whenever you think about a gaming set piece, that's usually the first one that pops to mind.
Yeah, especially from retro.
Mm-hmm.
It's memorable.
But yeah, I mean, Dreamcast itself is just, it was...
Very good system, just too early, I guess.
It was.
And then it got stomped out by PS. I say stupid PS2, and I love I love PS2. It's just that it killed the system I loved a little more at the time.
The distribution for the Dreamcast just wasn't very well done.
No, the launch wasn't done quite well.
I remember going with my mom to Kmart trying to buy one, and they had none of the games I wanted, and she was trying to talk to them about getting them and getting a rain check, and they're like, they were actually shipping games from Japan to here.
Yeah.
And, they were like, we can't guarantee what we're going to get and when and how many, so we can't even do rain checks.
Yeah, see, kids, you got to remember, this is back before the days of GameStop.
Yeah. If you're lucky, you could find an EB Games occasionally. Or KB Toys back in that time.
Well, that was back when toy stores were a big deal.
Toy stores existed and were cool.
But...
games were $80.
Yeah. Well, hell,
I remember paying actually $60 for wrestling games for Super Nintendo.
Oh, dude, I paid $75.
Everybody looked shitty.
Yeah. I paid $75 for my copy of Mario RPG. Brand new. Back when it first came out.
And now how much will you pay for it? About $75 to $150 some dollars.
If it's mint in box, but then why would you want to buy a game like that mint in box when you know you're going to want to open and play that motherfucker? That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you're just a hardcore collector and you've already got a copy.
I can see why some people might buy action figures and not open them. Fine. But I'm playing with my fucking video games.
Well, right. at least with an action figure, you can walk by and look at it that's mine.
That's cool.
That's an action figure.
I own that.
It's in a cool pose.
There's only 100,000 of these things, and I got it.
But you walk by a game that's just sitting on your shelf, it ain't doing nothing. It's just fucking. You got a little bit of box art. That's it.
Yeah, it's sad if you don't play it.
To really enjoy it, you gotta bust it open because that's one of those. That's an art form that you have to play to enjoy.
Yeah.
And video game is an art form. I don't give a damn what anyone says.
Yeah, it is. I think it's proven. Their doubters be damned, in my opinion.
They're still out there.
Yeah, but they've done art museum, whole frickin' almost seminars around video games now. And it deserves it.
So, alright, well, since we're on the topic of Sega, let's go ahead and work our way backwards. Let's go to the Genesis. And let's talk about favorite retro games on Genesis.
Too many to mention
for
me.
There's a lot.
Damn. Let's see, back in the day it was, Gunstar Heroes, Aladdin, and I don't give a damn what you guys say, Aladdin on Genesis was way the fuck better than on Super Nintendo. That's my opinion. It was just better
music. It had better music.
Better music, better gameplay, better levels.
The game, and that's a big thing too for back between when you compare the SNES and the Genesis, is a lot of these same games came out on both consoles.
But they were different.
A lot of them were. Sometimes it was just small things.
Sometimes it was just graphical.
A little bit, graphics.
Super Nintendo had a different kind of graphics than Sega did.
It might be graphical, like you said, or music. For me, one of the big ones was Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, that was a big difference. Only because on Sega you could put in that code,
you could put in
get
the blood
yourself
code,
some blood,
and you could have blood, which was a big deal back when you were
Oh,
a kid.
hell yeah.
You know?
and I put in that blood code.
Yeah, and that in itself was a damn feat to find.
Yeah.
Because this is back before everyone had the internet. You know?
Cheat codes mattered.
Cheat codes mattered and were a bitch to come up with.
Yeah.
You either had, a gaming magazine that...
Sheer dumb luck, a copy of Tips and Tricks, or, whatever.
Tips and Tricks.
Yeah, I know.
Damn, I'm feeling old.
It's a dead magazine, but I loved it. And at the back of every Tips and Tricks, they'd have that awesome diagram image that was so cool. You'd fill in the boxes, and it'd be like Yoshi being ridden by Simon Belmont or something.
Well,
cool.
like, the whole thing with Tips and Tricks that I loved was just the fact that it was, like, every issue, like you said, you had lists upon lists of
so
fucking
many
cheat codes. And it was great. I loved it. And this was back before putting in a cheat code took away all your fucking achievements and trophies and shit, which I feel is stupid. But whatever. Yeah, another gaming magazine that I used to love a lot too was GamePro.
Yeah,
it isn't around anymore.
GamePro, gone. Mm-hmm. Most gaming magazines have retired.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few still.
Yeah, Nintendo, official Nintendo magazine, gone.
Yeah, Nintendo Power's gone.
We still have Xbox. We still have
I think Sony
Game
still have their
Informer.
own?
I think they do.
I think Sony does, but it was always one of the least popular ones.
I know, like Xbox did. They still do.
They definitely do.
There's Game Informer. Most of these companies, though, have just went the way of, we'll just post it online.
Yeah.
We have our shit online, and if you want to check it out, go online. I think, like, the only real reason why, like, Game Informer's still around, to be honest, is because it's owned by GameStop.
Yeah, and it comes with your discount card. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, Game Informer's nice, and I every once in a while I'll crack it open to read it just to get that nostalgia feel. But like,
and I'll always enjoy their fucking once a year Game Enforcer.
Yeah, that's always
that is
cool.
always entertaining.
But like it's just like, man, whenever you do it, you read it, it's like this information's like a month old.
Yeah,
like
I knew all of this.
Yeah, it's back.
Sad.
It's back. It worked back when everyone didn't have
when internet wasn't popular.
When you couldn't pull out your damn phone and pull out everything you needed to find out on a game, just with by looking at your phone,
But now I want to check the world of gaming. I pop on IGN, scroll down for 5 minutes, and I'm completely up to date.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's. But again, it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah,
everyone loves it.
It's true.
So some of my favorite games that were on the Genesis though were Vector Man 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was
great.
Mm-hmm.
Earthworm Jim was great.
That's actually one of the ones I was going to bring up.
Another one that was both on the Genesis and on the Super Nintendo.
Earthworm Jim is just glorious.
It was great. I mean,
It's weird. It's off kilter. The gameplay's odd. The music's weird.
But there's a lot of the shit that came from the 90s, though.
Yeah,
that was a lot of the stuff that came from the 90s.
But I will honestly say, even amongst all the weird shit we got out of the 90s, Earthworm Jim still stands pretty high on that pile.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, don't say it was the weirdest.
No, it's not the weirdest. It's still pretty high.
Whenever someone says, "Oh, if this was the weirdest thing that ever came out of the 90s," I'm like,
no,
Ren and Stimpy.
Or even Rocko's Modern Life. Even though Ren and Stimpy got pretty weird. I don't remember an episode of Ren and Stimpy where they went inside
Did you ever play the Rocko's Modern Life video game?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So fucking weird. Oh,
horrible too. It was garbage.
It was not good game.
That was a bad game.
I recently tried to rewatch the show. And it does not hold up well.
No,
for me, it holds up better than Ren and Stimpy, but still not well.
No. I made it through 2 episodes and was like, wow, I used to fucking love this shit.
Yeah, Angry Beavers actually holds up really well.
Angry Beavers holds up incredibly well.
And before you all go that, hey, they're not talking about video games, Angry Beavers did have their own video.
And it was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. Well, another one, too, that was on the Genesis and on the Super, All Real Monsters.
Oh, man, I never got to beat that game. I only ever got to rent it. That's another artifact from the past, which I still indulge in, mind you.
Yeah.
My local family video does get business.
Yeah. I mean, and, there was a lot of great games, and like you said, this was back when rentals were only like one night. You paid like $3 or $4 for a one-night rental.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And then that game had to go back or you got hit with huge late fees.
which is still a problem, but huge late fees. which is still a problem, but
Which
at
is
least
still a
now they
problem.
have like 5-day rentals.
Yeah, but like some of these games, and this was back before saving. Most games didn't support a save system.
No.
If you were lucky,
if you were lucky, you got that code system.
you got a password.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, so like games like Phantasy Star and stuff like that, if you didn't own it, there was a good chance you weren't beating it.
Yeah, very good fucking
Unless
chance.
you had like $20 in your pocket and you could rent that for about a week.
Or if you're really lucky, you had your Game Genie ready with the codes needed to put you back where you were.
Game Genie.
Yep. I enjoyed my Game Genie.
I'm sorry, like there's a lot of games that I use my Game Genie on.
Yeah,
that
well,
I should have beat. They should have took like hours upon hours, probably days to beat.
Yeah.
And I blew through it.
Because there were the normal cheat codes, and it's just like, okay, this is kind of helpful. The game's still hard, though.
And then there was the game
Let me
breakers.
break the game real quick.
Yeah.
Those kind of cheats are way out of style, unfortunately.
We don't get those anymore.
Nope.
No, we haven't had that since PlayStation 2.
I have Game Shark.
Game Shark and Action Replay.
Yeah.
Those were the big ones on the PS2.
Did anybody play the X-Men game for Genesis?
Which one?
The first one they had.
That is one of the other ones I had for Sega Genesis that I just fucking loved.
I loved it.
It was so bad.
No, it was glorious. And
It was bad.
I
was fucking
rebought
great.
What
it.
the fuck was up with Gambit's powers? I mean,
He
seriously.
shot cards.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
In
did.
the first one? No,
Yes.
no, it was Nightcrawler. I'm thinking of.
Nightcrawler bamfs, just like you
Yeah, but
should.
he fucking.
It could get a little crazy
I
if you
didn't
didn't
like it.
handle the mechanics quite
Yeah,
right. I'll
like-
give you that. But no, you get to pick from like Wolverine, Cyclops,
But like,
Nightcrawler,
just having
Gambit.
Wolverine's claws out drained his mutant bar, which
I
didn't
didn't
make
think-
no fucking sense
While
whatsoever.
it didn't make sense, he was crazy powerful with
I
them.
know.
And was
but-
it the first one or the second one where they added in Beast?
Second.
One.
Yeah.
Though
And you also had
you couldn't
Psylocke.
call- But the first one was
You had
awesome though
six,
because you
so-
could pick your character and then you could call in Storm or Archangel,
Yeah.
Rogue, and they'd help you out.
Yeah.
Iceman would build a bridge for you across the level.
Oh, some of my favorite ones was this old Spider-Man games.
Oh hell yes!
Remember them?
Spider-Man,
Like Maximum
X-Men, or
Carnage?
Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, I
there were actually
remember
some good comic book
The
based
Sinister
video games
Six
back then.
game for the regular Nintendo, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So hard.
So fucking hard.
Oh.
But I fucking love some of those superhero games from back then. Not all of them were good. I'm looking at you, that fucking terrible Avengers game.
Silver Surfer was worse.
Yeah, there was
Which
some really
Avenger
bad.
game are you talking about?
The one that wanted to be that awesome arcade game X-Men, that awesome X-Men arcade game, and just
'Cause I
failed
know I had
miserably
I
because it was
played
off
it.
balance.
Well,
and
the arcade version of the Avengers game, which was I believe it was called Captain America and the Avengers,
yeah,
was actually
that was
pretty
okay.
good.
Yeah, that one was okay. I'm talking about the one they did before then, when the X-Men one was popular.
I can't remember which one I had.
But it wasn't for the
I
arcades.
had a game where you could play as Cap and you could play as Hawkeye, and there was like a point where you'd unlock the villains and you could play as Crossbones.
I think that was Captain America and the Avengers.
Yeah, I enjoyed
actually.
that.
Vision was a playable character in that one too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
Captain
what I'm
America.
talking
That's
about.
the good one that was released in the arcades.
And the port was pretty good too.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's something too. Like always pissed me off is like we never got the arcade ports
No,
like
we didn't
X-Men?
get some of them.
or
No.
The Simpsons. Remember the Simpsons
Yes.
arcade game?
Hell
we never
yes.
got that damn port.
Yeah,
Pissed me off.
I loved the Simpsons one, and
Although
I
you can
loved
get
the X-Men
Simpsons
one.
game on PlayStation.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
actually got it on there too.
Yeah.
I remember going to like Pizza Hut.
Yes.
And eating some pizza, and then being like, Mom, can I get some quarters,
Well, do you
please,
remember that
please?
horrible fucking fighting game where you had the guy with the Freddy Krueger glove? It's like Samurai Showdown or some shit.
Oh shit,
They
that game
have-
was hard.
They have it at fucking Vintage Villains.
Oh, that's
It's in
nice.
that game where it's got like 4 different
It's
fucking
not
games.
a bad game. You just have to know how to play.
Back then, it was too hard for me to know.
Back then I loved it. The other day I played it for 10 minutes and got my ass whooped.
Yeah, that's pretty much it too.
See, but that's the thing with me. Like fighting games has always been my genre.
Yeah.
You know, so like I've.
Mortal Kombat's the only fighting games I've ever really gotten
I really
into.
liked Street Fighter 2 way back in the day.
Oh yeah, originally,
But-
way back in the day, Street Fighter 2 Turbo was the shit. And then I started playing games I actually liked, I found out. I still love Dalzim, though. Throwing Yoga Flame and then punching people
The
from
only thing
halfway
I could
across
do
the screen.
was get Blanca and start jumping on people and biting their fucking head.
Biting their face.
That's all I did.
And then anytime they got close,
Yep.
that was
That was
great.
my shit right there.
But that was the cool thing about those games.
Or
like,
just
back in the
Chun-Li
day.
kicking like crazy.
Yeah, but that was the cool thing about those games back in the day, because the instruction manual didn't tell you how to do that shit.
No,
you had to
most of
figure
the
it out
time it
yourself.
didn't. Although, that's a retro thing of the past now.
Yeah,
The
instruction
game
manual.
manual.
I know, and that's still...
Still kind of makes me sad. I
it
miss
does.
flipping through it. Like, oh, I just got this new game, but I gotta take a shit. I need something to read.
Well, and that's the thing, why I will never fully support complete digital.
Nah,
Because,
same here.
I still,
won't.
and, this, it might be weird, but this is something I do every time I get a new game. I'll crack it open, and that new game smell, man, a lot of people's like, oh, that new car smell and shit, and all.
No, give me that fresh printed plastic disc smell.
Yeah, I mean...
See, I'm not with everything I like.
Yeah.
Though. Like, I have books on my phone, but I'd rather read a physical
Agreed.
book. I'd rather have a CD with headphones where I can hear every little detail.
Yeah.
Nothing. Digital files doesn't sound as good as CDs to me.
Right, but the thing with books, though? Books are expensive.
Books
They
are
are.
really
Well,
expensive.
the
it turns
digital-
out.
And the wear and tear on them if you actually enjoy
Yeah.
them.
And but the digital, don't get me wrong, there's still certain ones like comics
Yeah.
that are way better than, unless you have a big ass tablet.
Oh,
Yeah.
if I had a big ass tablet, I do a lot of digital comic reading. A lot of it.
But on this, it's a pain in the ass.
On the phone, yeah.
But if
Hell
you
no,
have
I
if
will
you
not.
have a tablet, it's not too bad.
No.
But oh man, because a new Dritz book when it comes out, it's $32 fucking hardback.
Yeah.
But I can get it for 15 or 13 on my fucking phone.
Digitally, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still love, and eventually I will buy all my
Yeah.
kids' books again.
It's always better having it in your
Yeah.
hand.
But
And same goes
in the
for
meantime,
games.
this is
Yeah, it's what works.
yeah. And it's cheaper. That's one thing that, they got right with the digital thing.
Yeah.
Books, a lot
Well,
cheaper. Music, too, sometimes.
Actually, not for games.
No, not for games.
No,
Games-
I actually read an article about that today, too. It's not likely to change anytime soon.
And that's why it'll never fully take
No,
off.
that's what drives me crazy. You can buy a game that came out a month ago, it'll have dropped to $40, but if you look on the PSN, it's still a full $60.
Mm-hmm. And people
There's
are like,
games-
then why doesn't Steam take over? Steam doesn't take over because Steam doesn't have exclusives.
True.
And I'll say it, that's the only reason why Steam doesn't take over.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the exclusives. But if Valve would get off their lazy fucking asses and make Half-Life 3, I guarantee you'll sell a hell of a lot more fucking Steam boxes.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just saying.
That's the fucking truth, too.
Not that I'm a huge fan.
Half-Life 3 coming, guaranteed playable on any Steam box.
Mm-hmm. Well, all they'd have to do is say Steam exclusive.
Oh, that would
That's
work.
all they'd have to do.
Yeah, it would work.
That's all they would have to fucking do. Not that I'm a huge fan of the Half-Life series, but that's one of them.
I enjoy the hell out of it. It turns out I like Portal quite a bit more, because it's just beautiful and wonderful and hilarious. But I am a Half-Life fan. I've played the first one, I've played the expansions, I've played the second one, and the expansions. They're great games, good atmosphere, they really are progenitors of inventive FPS.
Yeah.
And I love them for that. So a third one would be incredible. And they would sell some Steam boxes if they did something like that.
Easily. That's all they'd have to do.
Yeah. But no, taking it back to Genesis, I can't even count how many hours I spent with that 6-button. I had a 6-button controller, which was fucking awesome. We had a mode button, but I never really had to use it. I still am not sure what the fuck that was for. But
I had one, and it had turbo, and I would always use it.
You had one of those good ones.
Oh yeah, dude. I had really good shit. And I would always use that to fuck my friends over when we played fighting games. And
Oh, that was bullshit. Yeah, you could too.
And all you'd have to do is pick a character like Chun-Li or Honda.
And you just kick them.
That's all you do. You just kick once and then turn that fucking turbo on.
And it's over.
It's done.
That's the whole match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just a lot of games from that era that I really enjoyed, like Final
There were
Fight.
so
the
many.
Beat 'em up. I mean, that was the
Oh
era
yeah,
of
there
the
were
beat
some
'em up.
good ones.
Yeah, Final
There was
Fight.
this. I can't even think of what it was called now. But there was this awesome one where it was a side-to-side scrolling beat 'em up / fighting game actually, because the final fight played out exactly like a fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like this robot game. You custom built your robot.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I can't remember what it was
I can't
called.
remember the name.
But you would literally build out your
you could rip
robot.
the arms off your opponents and put them on yourself.
Yeah,
I remember that.
like if you got your arm blown off, you could take it from your opponent. But it would start out, the level would be you scrolling side to side, kind of like an arcade game, beating ass, and then the boss of the level or your opponent would your second player would just fight you.
Mm-hmm.
God,
And
I miss fucking
that was a
like
fun
beat 'em
game.
ups like that, like
Yeah, Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage.
I played
Golden
Streets
Axe.
of Rage 2 so much, and
Fucking-
Golden Axe.
Streets of Rage, Final Fight was always one of my favorites.
See, I played Golden Axe more than any of them, but Streets of Rage 2 I actually owned, so I got
liked-
some time into that one too.
I liked Final Fight because like between 1, 2, and 3, like the stories still linked really well.
Yeah, which is nice.
you know,
I love
which
that.
is always really good. You know, because you know at the end of what is it? I think it's the end of 2. Cody goes to jail.
Yeah.
He goes to jail because he kicked the boss of the Mad Gear gang out the fucking window.
Yeah.
And he died. You
No.
know? So you get 3, you get all new characters.
Yep.
You know? It was great. I mean, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really enjoyed it. You
Yeah.
know, and then like for the Super Nintendo, like
I
Mario RPG.
wish I owned one.
Super Mario RPG is still one of my favorite RPGs
Oh, hell yes.
of this day. You
That
know?
game it stands alone, I mean, honestly, as an RPG, because it had a perfect marrying of new gameplay mechanics at the time, a unique art style,
Mhm.
a take on the characters. Like, that game brought humor to the Mario universe.
Mhm.
Every single character was written well, and it had a good storyline. It had a really fun boss battle with some Power Rangers ripoffs.
Yeah.
And just one of my favorite parts of the whole game is when you're approaching that asshole's castle, the guy that looked kind of Wario-like. I can't think of his name. He tried to marry Peach, and you could actually get in the way, and he'd kiss you on the altar. I can't think of his fucking name right now.
Yeah, I can't either.
But when Bowser is like in front of his castle, and he's like, "What the hell am I gonna do? I'm not worth anything." He starts breaking down, crying, and he sees Mario. He's like, "Oh shit, gotta put on my act."
That was one of the cool things about it too, is because it gave more depth to these characters.
All
like
the characters,
Bowser.
yeah.
Bowser
And then you
wasn't
fight
just-
with Bowser.
Yeah,
for the
Bowser
first
and-
time.
Yeah, he ends up joining your team and working with you.
Yeah.
You know? And like that was one of the cool things about it, because it did. It gave a lot of depth to these characters.
Yeah, and even
That
brought in some
normal.
characters that weren't even part of it.
Right, Gino and
Gino
Mello.
was awesome.
Yeah, and like that's the thing that sucks too. Like especially like now when they brought out like Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really surprised they haven't put ever
like,
since
just
Brawl,
a Gino assist trophy or something
even,
would be awesome.
Even since Brawl, like when they added all those damn characters and they started going more off the beaten path.
Yeah.
I was really
Still
surprised
no
that we
Gino
didn't get
or
Gino.
Mallow.
You know, at least Gino.
Yeah,
he's like,
Gino
he
was more
a fan,
popular.
Yeah, he was a
I
fan
liked him
favorite.
more anyway.
Everyone loved Gino. He was great.
And hell, he hasn't even been revisited within the Mario universe.
No, and that's what really sucks.
But yeah, I really wish I owned a Super Nintendo. Early on in life, one of my fondest memories early on was like I would it would be the summer, and so no school, and I'd be at my dad's, and okay, we got to go to work. We'll drop you off at grandma's, but your cousin's coming over too, and so you'll both be there all day. And I'm like, okay, great. Initially, it was like, okay, so it's another day of watching Homeward Bound and all this other shit. And then I get there and find out, no, he brought his Super Nintendo over. And so we play Zombies Ate My Neighbors all fucking day. And Super Mario World. And it was just the best. I had just these awesome days. And speaking of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, that's like my favorite Super Nintendo retro game memory I have ever, I think. Playing Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That crazy, cheesy, based on shitty B horror movies game.
So many levels in that game.
So many levels. So hard, but
Yeah.
so fun.
Yep.
You don't get that kind of wackiness and just fun generally in gaming anymore.
No.
There are a few. Sunset Overdrive harkens back a little bit to the feel of that game.
Well, I mean, but that's the problem though. Like most of the games that nowadays is everyone wants the brutal and the dark.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but give me
but-
that zaniness.
Yeah.
I miss it.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Have fun.
You know? And that's that's why I love games like Saints Row.
Yeah.
And or ever since Saints Row 2.
I love Saints Row 2. It was the perfect marrying of zaniness, comedy, drama, character.
Well,
it's that perfect blend. But
I even told the guys from Volition when they were there back in May for Villains Con that the best move they ever made was taking Saints Row away from the serious, GTA type game and going for the more crazy off the wall stuff.
Even though nothing, in my opinion, will surpass Saints Row 2 in that series, it was just too perfect. I wish they would do more like that, but I'll be honest, I am, in the end, kind of glad they took it in that insane direction, because I'll admit it, Saints Row 4 was like the most fun game I played all of last year.
They had to take it that direction, because Saints Row compared to GTA,
it's so different.
Like GTA,
it was just an outright ripoff originally. That's why the first one didn't do very well.
Well, let's see. Like, what GTA was out when Saints Row 1 came out? Was it 4?
San Andreas was still being popular.
Was it still San Andreas?
San Andreas, because that was the end of the PS2 and the start of the 360
they didn't even
era.
put Saints Row 1 on the PS3.
San Andreas, was still kicking plenty. Well, and then, actually, the PS3 might not even have been out yet, but at the time Saints Row released.
Well, they were going to port it over, and they just dropped it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because, like, you took... Yeah, you're right, it was San Andreas, I remember now. But, like, you had... These two games are almost identical, you know?
Well, San Andreas was a lot more playful. Saints Row was more like GTA 3 or Vice City, except with a hip-hop styling, but more serious tone-wise than San Andreas was.
Well, the thing is, though, is that Rockstar did it better. Like, they did it way better. You know?
Well, actually, I will disagree, because San Andreas is a big pile of shit, but Saints Row is still quite playable. That's my opinion. Everyone will hate me for it. San Andreas is easily the worst fucking game in the entirety of the GTA series, and I'm including 4.
I don't know. I enjoyed San Andreas. I did.
It's fun to fuck around in, and there's a lot of features that I feel should have been carried into future entries, but San Andreas was just that. Fun, and I expected funny and enjoyable in other ways because of 3 and Vice City.
Yeah, but 3 wasn't really that funny.
No,
3 was pretty
satire.
serious.
It was satire in a good way. That's what I like GTA for all these years. That's what I enjoyed, and that's why 4 was such a huge fucking letdown. It forgot that it was part satire.
Yeah. 5
all hope for the series, though, because it was glorious.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to retro,
right.
But the Super Nintendo was such a good system. It was the one that got away, if you will.
I mean, and I've owned every Nintendo system in one way or another, except for a Wii U. You know, since the beginning. You know, I had an NES.
I loved my NES.
You know, the NES was great. I never had a Sega Master System.
Me neither, actually.
You know, and for the longest time, I didn't even know Sega had a system out that was going against the NES.
Yeah.
For the longest time, because that's how obscure they were.
I did at one point have a Sega CD.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I remember playing that fucking awful cliffhanger game.
I used to go over to Zach's house, Zach Curley.
Oh, I know him, yeah.
And used to play, he had a Spider-Man game for Sega CD.
Yep.
I used to play the shit
I
out
actually
of it.
played that over there, too.
I actually loved it.
Yeah. There were some weird Sega CD games. Actually, I got a lot of my Genesis fix from that household. Mm-hmm. It was great. It's the first time I played, what was that game, The Ooze? Or whatever. That was fun.
Yeah.
I loved that game. And Phantasy Star and Shadowrun, that's where I got them.
Well, that was the first place I think I actually played Primal Rage, too.
Yes!
Primal
Rage.
That's a fighting game even I can't say it was good.
I loved it, though.
Okay,
my obsession with dinosaurs combined with my love of Mortal Kombat, and though the mechanics were not good...
And that's what I mean by...
I loved playing it, though.
That's what I meant. From someone who's, you know,
As someone that loves fighting games, I can see why you take offense to it. But I had so much fun playing it, I really didn't give a shit.
If I was just playing it to have fun...
Yeah.
You know?
And the different creatures were so cool.
You know? But, like, again, though, it was another one of those games that suffered. Not necessarily because it was, you know, horrible, but it's just because of the fact that like in that day and age, it was a game like that had mechanics that was hidden.
Yeah.
And you really didn't have any way of
And
knowing
it didn't
about
get
it.
explained to you, yeah.
You know, because that game
had fatalities.
Yeah, it had fatalities. It had death moves that you didn't know how to do.
Exactly.
Because there was no way to tell you.
And hell, it wouldn't even tell you all your characters' moves.
No.
I think it only gave you like 2 or 3 of them per character, when in fact they had 7 or 8.
Yeah. You know, it was one of those games that suffered from bad game mechanics. That wasn't explained well.
But when you're that young, you're still just having shit tons of fun.
It doesn't matter.
I love Primal Rage.
Yeah, at that point there were so many fighting games.
Shit, now that I think about it, I might even have played that with you at some point without realizing it.
I very well could have, because I remember sitting over there with a bunch of people one night just playing it when they...
Yeah.
Whatever system.
Because they had those parties. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know the mysterious origin story of our friendship, it's just this weird thing that we discovered about like 6 months ago, that we've known each other for years and had no fucking clue. That's really it. We've known all the same people.
Yeah,
he even hung out with my older brother.
I used to be really good friends with his brother and come over and read comics and all that. And
had no idea. And then like 7 months ago, we realized, oh hey, we have a lot in common. Let's hang out.
Yeah, then it's like, oh, by the way, what the hell? Simple Green.
Simple Green that my little brother spilled in the driveway turned into
got brought up.
Suds.
It was like, oh yeah, I was there. I totally met you
hilarious.
and don't even remember it.
Yeah. But yeah, in any case, so much good games from back then, and I miss some of those, because there was so much. It's like the market was super saturated with games at the time. Mm-hmm. But the thing was, and then they weren't all good. That's for fucking sure. But I felt like the percentage was a little higher than it is nowadays.
Clay Fighter?
I loved Clay Fighter. It was so fun.
Ridiculous. Triple Prime Betty combo.
It was so good. I love that snowman. He kicked ass.
Clay Fighter 63 and a third.
Yeah, I know.
Clay Fighter 63 and a third is still one of my favorite
so awesome
N64 games.
Oh shit! I just thought there was another fucking fighter we didn't even touch yet. That was Super Nintendo. Killer fucking Instinct.
Killer Instinct. Great game.
I love that shit. Spinal, Kilgore, for Fulgore, and there were so many fucking characters that were weird and fun. Mortal Kombat just had these normal-looking guys for the most part, even though I loved it, and same goes for Street Fighter. This one had a raptor, a werewolf, a fucking knight, a skeleton. It had all these weird, dark fantasy kind of characters.
Yeah. It was really good. I mean, I loved it.
It was a fun fighting game.
You know, even though I don't agree with the way Microsoft's done the new one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
it's still a cool franchise.
I wish they would have just, here's the game, here's 20 characters right off the rip, have fun with it. You know, but
still.
Anyway, you know, however.
But yeah, I just felt like that era had a higher percentage of at least decent quality and variety compared to today's market. I mean, if it's good, it's usually at least moderately good nowadays, sure, but that's probably only about 30%, 40% of the game market.
I would say less than that, to be honest.
Maybe
probably
even
about 20.
less.
Because you have so many games that are just generic clones of one another.
Yeah.
You know, and
or
most
bullshit,
of the games,
undercooked things, and occasionally they'll even have a good idea and they'll become a cult classic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the games, it's either a shooter or, you know, a sports game or something like that. I mean, those are the majority of the titles that we get every year. You know? Is shooters, sports games. And don't get me wrong, I love my shooters.
And there's plenty of quality ones spread amongst those genres, sure. It's just that
to find your good games, you have to look deep.
You gotta dig.
You have to look a lot deeper. And like for me, the majority of the games that I've been buying this year have all come from Japan.
Yeah.
You know? Whether it's my RPGs or whether, you know, I just bought one. Yeah, I just bought one like a couple weeks ago. That's an anime fighter.
Oh yeah, that J-Stars.
J-Star Victory versus Plus. And that's the actual name of the game.
Yeah, which is so Japanese, it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's not even dubbed.
Really, I didn't know that.
The game's not even dubbed.
Wow.
It's it's got English subtitles and all that, but the voiceovers, there's cool voiceovers, but it's not dubbed. You know, but I love it. It's a great game. You know. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like I said, there's plenty of good games that come out now, you know, but it does feel like for the majority of it, you have to really dig for it. You got to look for them.
It's true.
You got to
really
look for the Mass Effects. You have to look for the Final Fantasies. Or
whereas I don't know, back in the day it was so easy. You'd go to the fucking rental store.
Exactly.
And you'd be like, wow, that actually looks like fun. You'd rent it, and you'd probably have a shit ton of fun playing it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you really have to kind of do your research to find out if it's gonna be fun, because if you rent it and it's just utter shit, which is a real possibility, it's just sad. You lost money, and sucks.
Yeah, back then it seemed like the quality titles just stood out when you just looked at it.
Yeah, you just look at it and it's like, that looks like
you
fun.
can easily take something that's complete shit and, you know, wrap it in something and make it look good. You know, and make people want to play
Exactly.
You know, and that was the thing, like back then, going to the rental store and renting that game, that was our demo.
Yeah.
That's how we demoed games back then. You know?
I'd go to Old Town Video or something like that and just,
you know,
rent the new Simpsons game.
Yeah, you know, and that's how you would demo the game and find out if it was good or not. And then if it was, then you would put it on the list of games that you wanted to buy eventually.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's if you get a demo, you're lucky.
Yeah, it's true.
If you get to download a demo,
demos are really rare nowadays.
They are. You know, which is ridiculous to me. And like,
I still have so many demo discs from back in the day too.
Oh, yeah.
I loved them.
And it feels like developers weren't
PlayStation Jam Pack.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Like developers back in the day weren't afraid of it. They would. You know, I mean, like once
it was their marketing tool.
Yeah, once the PlayStation
it worked though too.
It did.
I don't know how many times I would just go to a store and play
all of a sudden you can you can turn the market as your test audience.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. It doesn't fucking matter. Just make a short fucking demo. Make it the gameplay and plot relevancy is irrelevant.
Like you said,
just
Sony, they originated it because you would buy a game and you would open it up, not even being advertised on the cover of the game or on the back or anything.
Yeah.
Boom, free demo disc with like 5 different games on it.
Hell yes.
You know?
I still have a couple of jam packs that was the first time I played not a Final Fantasy, but repopularized it for me was when I picked up the one with the Final Fantasy VIII demo.
Yeah, I mean, I have one that has, one has Final Fantasy VIII on it. Another one has
Tomba
Xenogears.
I never got to play Xenogears, but I know the one you're talking about. Too.
Yeah, you know, because it's. I don't think it's a prequel to the Xenosaga, but it's in the same universe.
I don't actually think it is.
No, it is.
Is it?
It's in the same universe.
It's not very different. Then.
It's not directly tied in to Xenosaga.
Because I know Xenosaga is space travel and all this other stuff, but Xenogears is a very
opens up in space.
It's kind of an industrial. I thought it was more of an industrial.
Yeah, but see, it opens up in space. It's one of those giant ships, and it gets blown up and it crashes on a planet.
Okay.
And it's in the
same universe then, and that's it. Okay.
It's same universe, but it's not directly tied to Xenosaga. But you know, these are all games that end up becoming classics for me that I love.
Oh yeah, I have a deep love for Tomba, and that's Tomba the Evil Swine Returns, the sequel, and I got that on a demo disc.
Yeah, and it's all games that you got to play on demo disc.
I loved it, and they just don't release demos anymore. Even when the 360 first came out, they actually did have quite a few demos.
Yeah.
I went through, I downloaded a bunch of demos, found out what I really liked.
Well, Sony, if you are a PlayStation Plus member, at least on the PS3, they haven't done it on the PS4 yet, but if you on the PS3, you can download trial versions of a lot of games if you're a PlayStation Plus member and play it for like an hour.
Which was a good plan.
You know?
Good idea.
Great idea. You know, but it's like seems like Sony's the only one really doing it, but like a lot of the titles that are on there aren't really ones that you may not, but okay.
Yeah, you may not want the trial.
You may not, well, not that you may not want the trial, you may not want to spend the money to actually buy the game. So the trial is actually pretty good, because like a couple that's on there is actually a couple games that I've actually bought before. Record of the Hourglass Wars.
Yeah.
They have 1, 2, and 0 on there, which is the prequel to 1. And you can download it and play the trial. And like I think the games are only like $5 each.
Well, then there you go. If you like it, then shit.
Yeah, I mean, and they're great games. Nice, turn-based RTS style RPG game, and it's really good. You know, but let's see. Well, there's only really one retro. What do you mean 2?
2 retro consoles left for discussion.
What do you mean?
64 and PlayStation.
Okay, we can talk.
That's
64.
what's left.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I have a deep love for Sega Saturn, but as far as the popular retro systems, we've covered
Yeah,
them.
I never even played.
Okay, well let's go ahead and talk about Saturn real quick because it won't be long.
It won't
Saturn
be.
had a lot of really good games
It
that ended
did.
up getting ported though. To,
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest ones that was on the Saturn was Lunar.
Yeah, that
For
was
me.
a hugely popular RPG.
It got
All-
ported to the
Yeah.
PlayStation X.
A lot of them have gone full, they've covered the range now. They're on popular systems to this day, some of these series.
Well, and the only reason why the Saturn was unpopular is for one, it was $600 when it came out back in like
Way too
1996.
Way too expensive.
1996. Hell,
Yeah.
people were bitching back in 2005
Mhm.
about the PS3 being $600.
Yeah.
It came out in what? Was it June? Is that when it
Yeah.
launched? It launched in June.
Something like that sounds right, which is such a weird placing.
They were at E3, and then Sega announced, oh, by the way, the Sega Saturn will be in stores today. And it was like June 7th, I think is what it was.
Something.
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure it was like June.
Yeah.
It was just like bad marketing
Yeah.
on Sega's part.
See, for me, it was just one of the last systems, and we'll talk about the 64 in a second, but it was one of the last systems that had that feel of market saturation in the positive for games. I mean, it had such off-kilter franchises, but you go to the store to look, or the rental store, Blockbuster, whatever have you, and look at the Sega Saturn games. You look at a game, that looks like fun, you'd rent it. That was fucking fun! It felt like that.
It wasn't the games that killed that console. Well, it was the console itself that killed the
Yes,
console.
it was.
And bad marketing on Sega's
Yeah,
part.
but we've gotten revivals of some of the bigger series. It's
Yeah.
like Panzer Dragoon. They made
Yeah.
it made it off that
Dreamcast.
system. Yeah.
I mean, it's mainly because like Sega was rushing to get it out there before the N64 and the PlayStation
Yeah.
launched. That was it wasn't even so much the N64 because they've gone on record saying that they weren't worried about the 64.
No,
They
there's
were
no reason
worried
to
about
be.
the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't talk about the PlayStation either.
No, that's what I mean. We've got PlayStation and 64.
Well,
Top.
NES too.
Well, yeah, and the NES. Actually, yeah, true. We didn't really go
But-
back to that.
Like, and that was like when gaming really changed right there. Is like when you went into that era and you either chose the N64 or you chose the PlayStation.
Yeah,
And
that
like,
really was it.
and as much as I love the N64 and I love cartridges,
I know.
and I love everything about it.
And it's fair to say that yes, the PS1 won.
The PS1 was better simply because discs were cheaper to make.
Yeah.
They held more data, so game developers were really able to push what
Yeah.
they wanted to do. Plus when the PlayStation came out, it was way fucking cheaper than the other
Yeah.
disc consoles that were out at the time.
Yeah, it was too.
I mean, I'm sorry. What was it? What was the PlayStation when it launched? 300, I think.
300, 400 maybe.
I think it was 300.
Yeah, it
Because-
was way cheaper than say Sega Saturn, which
Well, yeah, it
was
was 600.
600.
And that was like one of the big things why I ended up going with the N64 too, is because it was only 200
Yeah, it wasn't expensive.
or maybe 250. I can't remember.
Yeah, but it had such great games
Mhm.
right off the bat. 64 had such amazing games. It launched with Super Mario 64, what is heralded as not only the first of the true amazing 3D platformers, but it's still heralded as one of the finest games ever made.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it's because it's perfect balance, lots of variety, crazy cool hub world. It had everything you could ask for from a
You actually
platformer.
got real boss battles against Bowser.
Real boss battles.
It wasn't just run underneath him and grab the axe.
Yeah,
or
no.
trick him into jumping in the same spot 3 fucking times, or
Nothing kitschy and
although
weird.
Super Mario World,
They did pretty good. They did
like
pretty
a boss
good.
battle,
Super Mario World is just a phenomenal, perfect
Yeah.
platformer.
but like you got games from the N64 like Smash Brothers,
Zelda.
Zelda, Ocarina of Time is still, a lot of people say it's still the best Zelda game that's ever been made.
Yeah, it's only
Although a lot
I
of
rank
people
it as
argue-
number one.
A lot
I
of people
will.
argue that Majora's Mask is a little bit better,
I won't say better,
but
but it's pretty comparable.
yeah. Me, I'm not I love the story for Zelda. I just don't like playing the game.
I love the games.
But like
Die-hard Zelda
as far
fan.
as my favorite story from a Zelda game, it would have to be Ocarina of Time.
No, absolutely.
You know, it's my favorite
Just because
story.
it's so good. I mean, I get why people would say Majora's Mask story-wise sometimes, because it's so weird. And if you want to embrace the weird, you're not going to get a whole lot better.
No.
But Ocarina of Time just tells a perfect classic tale.
Yeah. I mean...
And the gameplay has almost never been so perfectly balanced.
Yeah. I mean... And you got some other good ones too, some hidden gems.
And that's what I was going to say earlier. I mentioned how the Sega Saturn was one of the last ones where you could just pick up a game you see that you think it looks cool and it would be awesome. 64, in my opinion, was the last one that did that.
Yeah, there was a lot of games that were like that, but
you go and rent a 64 game that looks mildly cool, and you end up having a shit ton of fun, even if it's not the perfect game. There were so many of these offbeat, fun titles.
Yeah.
And to this day, I swear, we don't get the kind of variety the 64 had.
Nope.
All these weird fucking games, these terrible RPGs that had these weirdly cool things that made them still really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, Glover. Who remembers Glover? It was a fun, stupid platformer, but you didn't regret renting it,
No.
that's for sure.
You didn't.
And Clay Fighter, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Had an awesome sequel. Fucking weird game. I remember this stupid 3D arena fighter called Dark Reign for 64 that I rented, liked, and bought in like the $5 bins at EB Games. And I loved that game. I played it a lot. It was terrible, but I still had so much fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had like the games like Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is just a legend.
Yeah, that was one of...
It had so many great kitschy games. The market was good.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. But, like, when you compare it to the games that, like,
No.
PlayStation got...
PlayStation had better games. Like, as a whole, it had more games that were just amazing. But with the 64, it just felt like you could rent just about anything and have a good time.
Yeah.
Even some of the sports games. And hell, some people still claim that the 64 is the highlight of wrestling games.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Easily.
And I believe it. I played a couple of them, and I still had fun.
There was a few on the PlayStation 2 that I really enjoyed, but, like, when it comes to, like, real wrestling games, like WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
No Mercy,
And WCW versus NWO.
Yeah.
And, you know, and games like that, they were just way better.
Yeah, 64 was just that era.
Yeah, they were way better.
You could pick up even games that you had zero interest in and probably still have a pretty damn good time because I don't know if it was the controller or just the fact that it was so easy to make good game mechanics on that system. It just worked.
I think it was just because, like, you looked at the N64 and then you looked at the PlayStation, and games on the N64 just looked like they were more user-friendly.
Yeah.
Like, you could just...
That's true.
You could just play it and go, you know, not have to worry about it. Where you looked at the PlayStation, and it was like, okay, there's all these weird game mechanics that you're not used to. Because you gotta remember...
That was one of the first systems, if not maybe the first system, that was able to design game mechanics that were truly deep.
Mm-hmm.
Truly
you gotta
deep.
remember, though, gamers weren't ready for that at that time.
No.
That kind of
first, it was
surprised.
weird to see this kind of depth.
When they first announced that they were taking games from 2D to 3D, everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, first of all, what the fuck's going on?
You know, because, like, how the hell are we supposed to make this work? You know, how are we supposed to play this game and shit? And it worked out. It ended up working out.
And yeah, Nintendo just took it and ran, but PlayStation had to work at getting those games right. And it turns out it worked in their favor.
Well, because the PlayStation originally wasn't designed to do 3D models.
Yeah.
It wasn't designed to be a 3D game console. Anyone who knows their history knows that the PlayStation was originally meant to be a peripheral for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo backed out on the deal and burned Sony.
Which they actually very recently uncovered the original prototype for that system.
I seen it. That was great. But Sony, pretty much said, "Fuck you, Nintendo. We're going to do it anyway.
Do our own thing."
And that was pretty much what kind of helped hurt Nintendo. I mean, I won't say killed Nintendo because Nintendo's still alive.
I won't say that. Yeah, it's far from killed.
I don't think Nintendo will ever fully die out because it's a dynasty.
It is.
It's a dynasty.
And they have so many franchises that are central to the idea of video games.
It's not like Sega where they only had a few.
Yeah.
With
we never
Nintendo.
did talk about Sonic.
Yeah, well...
Sonic's dead to the world now, but I loved it in the day.
That's because Sonic, and like you say, with
Genesis,
the crappy games that we've gotten lately, Sonic has left a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
No shit.
I mean...
Canon or not, that bestiality storyline still feels wrong.
it pulls in with the comics.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's a good game.
I'm saying because it's a bad game, it made what might have been able to be pulled off something awful.
Sonic 06 is like Metroid Other M.
Maybe not quite as poorly designed.
No, I'll say it because
but not well done.
Because a lot of people, one of the biggest bitches about Other M is Samus's voice and how she's a little,
she's a little too prissy.
Yeah, and like she won't use her weapons and shit unless she
gets told to.
Yeah, well, that pulls off a direct storyline from Nintendo Comics in Japan that only released in Japan. Because everyone's, she freaks out when she first sees Ridley.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what?
Which who wouldn't? Giant space pterodactyl. I'll give her that one.
But everyone's like, but she's already whooped his ass before. Why is she freaking out now?
Then maybe
in that story, in the storyline that they're going off of, the canon that they decided to use, Ridley destroyed her entire village, killed her parents, and did it all in front of her. So she freaks out.
Make you pretty iffy.
But there's no
way
of knowing
all that. Yeah.
So again, the storyline suffers from not being explained well.
Undercooked is a good way to put it.
Exactly. But with PlayStation,
we didn't even cover Metroid
No.
in the talk of Super Nintendo.
No, we didn't, because there was just so many other ones.
Sorry, I just offshoot mention then, Super Metroid is God. So
yeah.
we're just going to move on now.
But like, with Sony, with the PlayStation X, because that's what it was originally called.
Yeah.
You got games like, you ended up getting the Final Fantasy series moved there.
Oh, man.
And it was a great move for it.
Good call.
I mean, you got Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9.
9.
Which were amazing. You got Final Fantasy Tactics.
Tactics was glorious.
So
brutal, but fun.
Which the Tactics games tie into one another, but have nothing to do with the actual main storyline of Final Fantasy.
No, different world entirely.
But still was really good.
Yeah.
You got games like Heart of Darkness.
Yes, that's such a unique game.
That was one of the launch titles.
Oh, it was so cool.
For the PlayStation, and I remember seeing that game, and I was like, "That's really neat. That's really cool."
And it looks so kid friendly too, though. But you have these the kid gets murdered brutally in like 10,000 ways. Like, I watched a death montage not that long ago, and I'm just like, "Holy shit, that's dark."
But it's one of those games like if you were a fan of like Monkey Island.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. It was, you'd love it.
There's all kind. It was an adventure game. It really was. It was a little more trial and error. Mm-hmm. It was a little Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah,
but still, and that's not saying a bad thing. But
like that was one of the games. Like I looked at it and I was like, that's really cool. That's original, and it's really neat that they decided to do that. And like our friend Brandon Ross.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me, he's like, Jeff, which console should I get? Should I get an N64 or should I get a PlayStation? I told him, like, dude, get a PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it wasn't because I felt like the PlayStation was a better console. To be honest, at the time, I already had an N64.
Selfish needs.
I already had an N64,
desires.
and I was like, dude, get a PlayStation so I can play games.
We'll trade. Yeah, we'll have fun.
But and he asked, what game should I get for it? I'm like, well, there's this one game called Heart of Darkness, because Ross plays a lot of King's Quest.
Oh, yeah.
And he plays a lot of Quest for Glory.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the old point and
play. It's in the right vein.
Yeah, I was like, dude, get that, because you'll love it. And he did.
It's a fun game.
And Ross has been a Sony fan ever since.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, like, I became a Sony fan, like, late in, like, the PS3 era. Like, I liked the PS2, and there were certain games on the PS2 I liked. None that made me want to buy a PS2.
Yeah.
But there were certain games I liked. And plus, I didn't have to buy one because I just borrow Ross's all the time.
Yeah. See, I will say I have been a Sony fan since my PS1. But I can't say I was a true fanboy until probably, 2000, we'll say 13.
But, like, I ended up buying a PS3 just to play some of the JRPGs that were coming out because I was getting burnt out on my 360.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting my RPG fix. I mean, Microsoft started off strong with the 360.
Oh, hell yeah, they did.
With games like Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey.
Their exclusives were very strong early on, but then it really petered off entirely. Yeah. And Sony's like, well, our exclusives still kick ass.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like Sony also, and that's the thing, like I've always said that works for Sony the best, is that they have that reservoir of games from Japan that might seem a little too crazy at the time, but after they've been out a year or so over there, and they've made so much money off of them in Japan, yeah, fuck it, let's do a port.
Yeah, there's just almost like this in America.
Yeah.
It feels like this just untapped market of games. Like there's so many. I feel like Japan, for all Sony systems, still has that thing where I was talking about market saturation earlier.
Mhm.
How the quality of the games generally is higher. I feel like Japan has that.
Yeah.
Still, we don't see it.
No, we don't see it very often, but like every once in a while we'll see it with games like the Tales series for one.
Yeah, Tales
That's a
series.
big one.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger ones.
Back on PlayStation 2, what was it?
Shadow Hearts was one.
Well, I was thinking of, what is that one where you just roll that fucking thing, the ball around, and you collect a bunch of stupid shit?
Katamari Damacy.
Katamari, yeah. That was a big one. Like when that
Yeah,
game,
it was.
when I first seen that game advertised in my Game Pro, I'm like, that is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life. There ain't no way in hell that's gonna take off. And what it do? It
Took
blew
the fuck
up.
off. And that's because it's so weird and just fun that you can't help but like
It just blew up, and I'm like, why? You know, good for you, I guess,
Yeah.
but why?
I don't know, something about having the king of all cosmos thrust his codpiece in your face and say, make bigger balls.
I guess, man.
It's addictive, I guess.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the last one, and then we'll wrap this up. The NES.
Yeah. Which was my first system
You know, a lot
that
of
I
people
got to play on.
A lot of people would say, oh, my first system was actually the Atari 2600, but those games, and I use that term very loosely, because it was hard to call those games.
Some of them,
Some of them really
Can
worked,
count.
because like you had ports like Donkey Kong
yeah.
and Pac-Man
Yeah.
that sort of resembled the arcade games,
Yeah.
but not really, you know, and they were not
There's
licensed.
very little on the Atari that you can truly
Right. I mean,
call glorious or anything.
But, you know,
I liked Adventure.
even though like the Atari and ColecoVision and all those
Yeah.
came first, I still like saying the Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, the NES, was the birthplace of in-home games.
The first true game console.
Because you got games that with characters that actually look like the
Yeah.
characters they were supposed to look like.
Yeah, instead of just being a dot and just being like, this guy's got a sword.
I mean,
That's what that other
yeah,
dot that appears
like,
is.
don't get me wrong, like playing on the Atari and stuff, like it still forced you to use your imagination.
Yes, it did.
You know, when we got the Nintendo, it was like, okay, well, that guy's Mario, and he looks like a guy.
Yeah.
Those are the enemies. Those are blocks, pipes. You know, you could actually tell what everything
Yeah,
was.
everything was sensible.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm entering a castle. Okay. And
Yeah.
it actually is a castle. Okay.
You know, and that was great. I mean, that's the birth of graphics. That was
Of graphical gaming.
yeah, graphical gaming.
Well,
that was
although I think at that point we had gotten Wolfenstein. So
well, yeah.
technically PC, but this is the first true console.
Yeah, but how many people back in that day had a PC?
Yeah, I know.
You know, like that's the thing. We're
I
talking.
mean,
about
I played Oregon Trail, but
the NES. You gotta remember the NES became went on sale. I believe it was 1984.
Yeah, I can see it. That sounds
It
right.
might have been 1986. I don't know. I didn't get one until I was like 3 or 4.
I wasn't even born until 90 or until 88. So
Right. I
mean,
was born in '86. I can remember when I was like, I think I was 3. We got our first Nintendo.
Yeah, I didn't get to play.
Yeah, I think I was
I don't
like
think I
4 or
even
5.
touched a game console until I was 4.
So somewhere between '84 and '86, I want to say. That sounds about right. That the Nintendo came out,
yeah.
and it came out. You know, you had Mario Brothers.
Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers.
Well, at
Oh,
the
no.
time, it wasn't even Duck
Yeah,
Hunt.
that was later. Yeah, I forgot that wasn't actually a launch.
When
thing.
it first launched.
It was just Mario,
Super
where
Mario
you're
Brothers.
where that terrible one where you're just Mario and Luigi running through the pipes.
Yeah, I love that one.
Popping them upside down, jumping on top. It was fun. I had it. I played it.
I loved that. It was fun, but it got old pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you started killing each other
Yeah.
really fast.
Hit the pow. Screw
But-
them over.
You know, and then you got games, you know, later on that came out. You got Zelda.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
I
and that was 1986, I believe, when the first Zelda came out.
96? Is that what you
86.
just said? I was gonna say.
I said 86.
Okay.
I believe.
That sounds like. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
My
Well-
first games on the NES were definitely still in the realm of maybe I shouldn't call you a game.
Oh yeah.
Though, my very first game I ever played was called Kung Fu.
Hmm.
And it was literally just you running right the first level, running left the second level, right the next level, going up
Yeah.
a dojo, you
Yeah.
know, but just kicking
I remember
and
Kung
punching.
Fu.
And it's just endless streams of bad guys being kicked and punched. And the other one was Popeye.
Yeah.
Popeye, get that fucking spinach, beat Bluto.
Rampage.
I did not have Rampage.
You didn't have Rampage?
Shit.
No, I played it in arcades, but I did not own
They're
Rampage.
making a Rampage movie.
With The Rock.
I know, right?
That sounds like fun.
But that's another topic. Like we'll
we'll
eventually
get
end up doing video game
shit
movies.
like that, sure.
Eventually.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you had games like that, Rampage, Battletoads.
Oh, yeah.
You had Zelda.
Hard.
You had
Great.
The Legend of Zelda, and you had the Legend of Zelda 2.
Which I still like, despite its difficulty and how weird it is.
Well, I mean, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, it was different.
Yeah.
People
People weren't expecting different, that's for sure.
No, they weren't. And like it was a drastic change from
It was.
the first
from
one
the
to
first
the second
one,
one.
yeah. It became an action platformer.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But you have, and don't get me wrong, there was the fair share of shit titles.
Oh, plenty.
I mean, most of them were. I mean, let's face it.
Yep.
What was the company? LGN?
Oh, wait, the one that made those awful, like, one-word games?
Oh, no, they were the one, their logo was, like, the rainbow. And they were the ones responsible for a lot of the movie games.
Oh, like E.T.?
No, they weren't responsible for E.T., but they were
Okay.
responsible for, like, Home Alone.
Oh, which was bad. Yes,
was-
I remember
was
how bad
horrible
that
game.
was. I do remember liking Home Alone 2 for Super Nintendo, though. That was fun.
Well, it was, they started making games. But, like, back in the NES day, it's like...
No, everything was pretty awful for
I
the most
I
part.
want to say it was
movie-wise.
LJN or JL.
I don't remember for sure.
Anyway,
Too long
like,
ago.
if you ever watch, like, Angry Video Game Nerd, he rages about this shit
Yeah.
all the time. But, like, they made some of the worst fucking games
Yeah.
ever. Ever. And then the games that were good was hard as hell.
Yeah. They were, too. Difficulty was crazy.
Well, because you didn't have any easy mode.
No, hell no.
You didn't get easy mode. You didn't
Nope.
get normal mode.
Pop
They
in
was-
Castlevania. Good luck!
That motherfucker was cranked up to 11 all the way, and that
Yep.
knob was snapped off.
Yep.
Miyamoto was just like, have at it, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just the way it was back then. But when
Yeah.
you beat a game, you actually felt accomplished.
It's true.
I only beat
Unless you
one
played
game
Ghosts
for
and
NES.
Goblins, and then it's just like, congratulations.
You had to beat that
Or no,
game
wait,
twice.
was it congratulations, I think, at the time? The error? But, yeah, and then you had to beat it a second time, and then all you got was this, like, good job.
Yeah.
Woo!
Congratulations.
I feel like I got more out of the time they told me I had to beat the game again.
Yeah. It was all losing. Do it again.
Assholes.
Yeah. I think the only game I ever beat for NES was DuckTales.
Oh, I love DuckTales on NES.
That was hard as fuck, too, though.
It was.
Like, that game was, one of my...
Unrelenting.
I beat Battletoads, and there's not many people that can say that. I beat Battletoads without cheats. And there's not many people that can say that.
No, there aren't many.
And that game was just ridiculously hard. If you were able to make it through the turbo tunnel,
Yeah, I made it through the turbo tunnel. I'll be honest, I did. I never beat the game though because I just got fed up. There was a point I got stuck again, and it wasn't as hard, but it was just like fuck it.
Yeah.
I've been through too much. I'm done.
but like Battletoads, and then there was like Double Dragon.
Yes, Double Dragon was hard too.
They were hard. Contra
Yes.
is still to this day considered
That
one of
spread gun though.
Oh yeah,
That's game winner any level once you got it in a level.
Yeah, because it was all random.
Yep.
I mean, that was the thing. Like the NES, they gave you games
Ugh.
that you were playing a game, but you might as well had someone stepping on your balls.
The whole
Because it
time.
was like torture. I mean, we are all fucking, what is it, sadists or masochists?
Sadists would be inflicting. Masochists is taking.
We are all masochists because we dealt with that
for
shit.
enjoying NES games.
And we claimed to have fun while it was being done.
Yeah. And
But-
nowadays we go back, we try one, we say, good God, I don't remember. I swear I beat this back then.
I couldn't beat Battletoads now.
No.
I couldn't.
There's only a few NES games I can still say I can beat. Zelda, I can beat. Super Mario 1, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3.
Zelda's difficulty, to me, didn't
The
come
first
from...
one is pretty hard, though.
Well, it didn't come from, like, actually being hard. It came from, like, if you didn't know what you needed to know,
Oh
were
yeah,
fucked.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it was another one of those games.
Getting
that, like,
through the forest was not easy.
No, and then like, oh, how if you didn't know to blow up this one particular rock,
You didn't get into the dungeon.
yeah, like it was a lot of that shit
That's true.
to me. But 2 was fucking hard.
2 was hard, but at least it didn't have that.
No, it didn't. It was more straightforward, but it was still hard as hell.
Yeah, it was. And much harder.
Yeah.
Much harder.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps up.
Yeah, that really does wrap it up. Lots of nostalgia there.
So a lot of retro, a lot of nostalgia, just over everything. If there was something that that you feel nostalgic about, one of your favorite retro games that we didn't mention, because I know there's a lot that we didn't.
There's so many.
There's a lot that we didn't just.
Hell, we
didn't get
we
to.
name dropped like 5 PS1 games, and half my childhood, I swear, it was playing those.
But if
And so many.
if you have one that you'd like us to talk about, go ahead and leave it in the comments and let us know.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about it. And
as
we'll do
usual,
another
just
one.
feed the flames of our debates. and
Yeah, I
such.
mean-
And we haven't done any real debates, especially not on this podcast.
No.
But we want to hear it.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing, because like with retro gaming, there's too
There's
much.
a lot to
Everything's
talk
retro.
about.
You know, if it's a year old, it can be considered retro.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you got one, put it in the comments.
Send
Let
it
us
our
know.
way.
So for Pixelated Apocalypse, I'm Uberbulge.
I'm Westicles.
Juicebox.
Later.